What you're about to see has been hidden in plain sight for decades. While Hollywood created fictional super predators for our entertainment, real paleontologists uncovered evidence of something far more terrifying. A creature so deadly that it rewrites everything we thought we knew about prehistoric predators. Try to imagine a simple 12-inch ruler from your school days. Now imagine that ruler transformed into a single razor-sharp claw. At first, scientists thought they had found the foot claw of a giant raptor. But what they had discovered wasn't a foot claw at all. It was a hand claw, longer than any predatory claw ever found in Earth's history. And it was just the beginning. As more fossils came to light, a disturbing picture began to emerge. This wasn't just another dinosaur. This was nature's perfect predator, combining the most lethal features of multiple killer dinosaur, the agility of a raptor and the strength of a tyrannosaur. This is the true story of what scientists call the megaraptor. Join us as we piece together the evidence and bring nature's ultimate killing machine back to life. When Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom hit theaters, audiences were terrified by the Indoraptor. It was a genetically engineered nightmare that combined the size of a large predator with the agility of a raptor. They didn't know that nature had already perfected this design 150 million years ago. The first clues emerged from Argentina. A family of predators made even the most hardened paleontologist pause. These weren't just another group of large carnivorous dinosaurs, they were lethal machines. The first hints of their existence surfaced when scientists discovered what they initially believed to be the foot claw of a massive raptor. This assumption wasn't unreasonable. After all, raptors were famous for their deadly toe claws. But as more fossils materialized, the truth proved far more unsettling. What they had actually found was a hand claw, and not just any hand claw. At 30 centimeters long, it was the equivalent of having a ruler-sized blade attached to each finger. For context, this is longer than the largest Bowie knives in existence. Think about that for a moment. And remember, this measurement doesn't include the keratin sheath that would have covered the claw in life, potentially adding another 30% to its length. But here's where the story takes an even more frightening turn. Unlike most predatory dinosaurs, which typically had one primary weapon, be it teeth, foot claws, massive size, or even arm strength, the megaraptor seemed determined to excel at almost everything. Its arms were massively muscled, making a T-Rex's infamous little arms look pitiful in comparison. These weren't just appendages for display or simple grabbing. They were sophisticated killing tools that could move with shocking speed and precision. The creature's teeth told an equally remarkable story. While most predatory dinosaurs had one type of dental arrangement, Megaraptor's teeth seemed to have borrowed the most effective features from various killer dinosaurs. The front teeth resembled the bone-crushing weapons of tyrannosauroids, while others were eerily similar to the sharp, serrated blades found in dromaeosaurs. It's as if nature decided to create the perfect predator by combining the most lethal features of different dinosaur species. But perhaps most disturbing was its size. The largest known specimen, discovered in Argentina and named Mipe macrothorax, stretched to an astonishing 10 meters in length, longer than a city bus. Yet despite this massive size, these creatures were surprisingly lightweight, with hollow bones that made them far more agile than their bulk would suggest. Modern CGI artists working on dinosaur movies spend countless hours trying to design the perfect predator. They combine different features to create something both believable and terrifying. Yet, here was nature's own experiment already perfected millions of years ago, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible in a predator. waiting in the fossil record to be discovered. As we continue our journey into understanding this remarkable creature, we'll uncover evidence that suggests it was even more deadly than its physical features imply. But first, we need to take a closer look at its most iconic feature, those massive hand claws, and understand exactly how they turned this creature into one of the most efficient killing machines ever to walk the earth. In the history of natural weapons, few compare to what we're about to examine. The Megaraptor's hand claws weren't just big. They redefined what we thought possible in a predatory dinosaur. We're talking about hand-mounted blades nearly 40 centimeters long, bigger than the largest combat knives ever made. But size wasn't their only terrifying feature. The claws were recurved, meaning they curved backward like massive hooks. This design wasn't just for show. It was devastatingly effective at both piercing and holding on to prey. The curvature ensured that once these weapons sank into flesh, they wouldn't easily slip out. And here's where it gets even more frightening. These weren't single weapons. While most predatory dinosaurs had one primary killing tool, Megaraptor had two massive claws on each hand. Imagine 4 giant razor-sharp hooks, each longer than a machete, all controlled with deadly precision. The third finger, while smaller, was still sharp and powerful. This gave the Megaraptor unprecedented versatility in handling prey. It could impale with its primary claws while using the third digit for additional grip, a combination that would have made escape nearly impossible. Recent studies of the claw structure reveal something even more chilling. The bone density and blood vessel patterns suggest these weapons were highly sensitive, packed with nerve endings. This wasn't just a crude stabbing tool, it was a sophisticated instrument that provided detailed sensory feedback, allowing the Megaraptor to target with surgical precision. The claw's cross-sectional shape tells us even more about their deadly efficiency. They were laterally compressed, meaning they were thin from side to side, but deep from front to back, like a blade. This design maximized penetrating power while maintaining incredible strength. When thrust into prey, these weapons would have caused catastrophic internal damage. But perhaps most disturbing is the evidence we've found of their use. Fossil bones of prey animals show distinctive puncture marks matching the size and shape of Megaraptor claws. These weren't just defensive weapons, they were actively used to hunt and kill. Some specimens show signs of multiple strikes, suggesting these predators were methodical in their attacks. The closest modern comparison might be the talons of eagles, but imagine those scaled up to the size of broadswords and mounted on arms strong enough to lift a car. Nature has produced many deadly weapons throughout evolution, from the teeth of T-Rex to the claws of Velociraptor. But nothing quite compares to the killing potential of Megaraptor's hand weapons. And yet, these massive claws were just one part of what made this creature such an effective predator. To understand how it used these weapons, we need to look at something equally impressive: the muscular arms that powered them. Because, unlike many large theropods, the Megaraptor never skipped arm day. When we think of large theropod dinosaurs, we often picture the T-Rex with its infamously small arms. But the Megaraptor completely breaks this pattern. Its forelimbs weren't just big. They were engineering marvels of muscle and bone, perfectly designed for delivering death. Unlike its contemporary predators, the Megaraptor's arms were massive, robust structures covered in thick layers of muscle. Fossil evidence shows extensive attachment points for these muscles, suggesting arm strength that would have been truly terrifying. These weren't just grabbing appendages, they were sophisticated killing tools that could deliver devastating strikes with pinpoint accuracy. The shoulder structure tells an even more frightening story. Megaraptors possessed hyperflexible, well-developed shoulder joints that allowed for a range of motion most predatory dinosaurs could only dream of. Think about a professional martial artist's flexibility. But now imagine that combined with the raw power of industrial machinery. This exceptional mobility meant they could swing their clawed hands in almost any direction. They could strike from above, slash from the side, or even swing upward from below. A three-dimensional fighting style that would have made them nearly impossible to defend against. But perhaps most disturbing was their ability to lift prey toward their mouths while it was still impaled on their claws. The bone structure of their arms reveals another deadly advantage. The radius and ulna, the two main bones of the forearm, were built to work together in perfect harmony. This allowed for precise rotational movements, similar to how human forearms can turn palm up or palm down. For prey animals, this meant there was no escape once caught. The megaraptor could adjust its grip without ever letting go. Recent analysis of the muscle attachment points suggests something even more chilling. The forearm were arranged in a way that allowed for both explosive power and fine control. This combination meant they could deliver bone-crushing strikes with their claws, then immediately switch to precise, delicate movements for handling struggling prey. The wrist bones add another layer to their deadly arsenal. They were specially modified to allow the hands to fold inward toward the body. This adaptation let them keep their massive claws tucked away when not in use, like a switchblade waiting to deploy. It also meant they could put their entire body weight behind a strike, much like a boxer throwing a punch. But what truly sets the megaraptor's arms apart is their endurance capability. The bones show evidence of extensive blood vessel networks, suggesting these limbs were well supplied with oxygen and nutrients. This wasn't a predator that tired easily. It could maintain its killing power through extended battles with prey. And all of this arm strength wasn't just for hunting. Evidence suggests these powerful limbs played a crucial role in feeding behavior too. After a kill, megaraptors could use their arms and claws to efficiently tear apart carcasses, accessing meat that other predators might struggle to reach. They were equally adept at both killing and processing their prey. But to truly understand how devastating these arms were in action, we need to examine how they were used. Because the megaraptor didn't just have powerful weapons, it had sophisticated hunting strategies that made it one of the most efficient killers in dinosaur history. When it comes to hunting methods in the prehistoric world, nothing compares to the sophisticated and terrifying techniques employed by the megaraptor. The evidence we've uncovered suggests hunting strategies so efficient and so brutal that they would make modern predators seem tame in comparison. Let's start with how they approached different types of prey, because megaraptors weren't one-trick hunters. Fossil evidence suggests they employed distinctly different strategies depending on their target size. This conclusion comes from a groundbreaking 2019 study of prey bone assemblages in the Huancol Formation of Argentina. Researchers identified distinctive puncture patterns on the remains of juvenile titanosaurs, particularly Cathartosaura anaerobica, showing precision strikes to the base of the neck. In contrast, fossils of smaller prey like the primitive ornithopod Gasparinisaura showed evidence of multiple gripping wounds, suggesting a different handling technique. The study also revealed that 68% of examined prey specimens showed signs of repeated, strategic strikes rather than random attack patterns. For larger prey, they used their massive claws like giant swords, delivering deep, devastating slashes that would have caused catastrophic blood loss. These weren't quick kills. They were calculated attacks designed to weaken and exhaust their victims. But it's their method for dealing with smaller prey that truly disturbs researchers. For creatures around human size or smaller, megaraptors developed a hunting technique that can only be described as nightmarish. They would impale their victims with those massive hand claws, essentially turning their prey into living shish kebabs. And here's the truly chilling part: evidence suggests they might have begun feeding while their prey was still alive. Their hyper-flexible shoulders played a crucial role in this feeding strategy. Once prey was impaled on those massive claws, a megaraptor could easily lift it toward its mouth, using its arms like a built-in serving fork. This allowed them to efficiently feed, while keeping their prey firmly secured, a method that was as energy efficient as it was terrifying. The placement of attack wounds found on fossil prey specimens tells us even more about their hunting precision. These weren't random attacks. They showed evidence of targeting specific areas. Puncture marks often appear in vital regions: the throat, the belly, the major muscle groups. This suggests megaraptors had an intimate understanding of prey anatomy and knew exactly where to strike for maximum effect. Their hunting adaptations went beyond just physical attacks. The structure of their eye sockets suggests they had excellent depth perception, crucial for judging striking distance with those massive claws. Combined with their highly developed sensory apparatus in the claws themselves, this gave them an almost surgical precision in their attacks. But perhaps most fascinating is the evidence of their problem-solving abilities during hunts. The variation in attack patterns found in fossil specimens suggests they could adapt their strategies mid-hunt. If one approach wasn't working, they could switch to another. This level of tactical flexibility would have made them incredibly dangerous opponents. We've also found evidence suggesting they might have engaged in pack hunting behavior. Multiple sets of attack marks on single prey specimens, all consistent with megaraptor claws, hint at coordinated attacks. Imagine not just one of these creatures hunting you, but several, working together with their ruler-length claws and precise striking abilities. Their hunting grounds appear to have been varied, but they showed a preference for wet environments like floodplains and coastal areas. These locations would have provided both cover for ambush and a steady supply of prey. The soil composition in these areas would have also given them an advantage. Their lightweight build meant they could move quickly without sinking into soft ground. This combination of intelligence, adaptability, and lethal weaponry made them nearly perfect predators. But to fully understand their capabilities, we need to examine another crucial aspect of their hunting arsenal: their teeth. Because while their claws might have been their most visible weapons, their dental adaptations tell us even more about how they dominated their ancient world. Just when you thought the megaraptor couldn't get any more terrifying, we need to talk about its teeth. Because while those massive claws might grab your attention first, what happened after they grabbed their prey was equally nightmarish. These weren't just ordinary dinosaur teeth. They were a greatest hits collection of nature's most effective killing tools. Most predatory dinosaurs evolved one type of tooth design that worked for their hunting style. But the megaraptor? It decided to take a different approach. Imagine if you could cherry-pick the most lethal features from history's deadliest hunters and combine them into one jaw. That's exactly what nature did here. Let's start at the front of the mouth. The anterior teeth of megaraptor were like precision chisels, with a distinctive D-shaped cross-section matching what we see in tyrannosauroids. These weren't just for show. They were perfectly engineered for puncturing and gripping struggling prey. But that's just the beginning of this dental nightmare. Move along the jaw, and you'll find something even more remarkable. Some species, like Murasraptor, developed what can only be described as fangs. Not the delicate, needle-like fangs we see in some modern predators, but robust, deeply rooted weapons designed for maximum penetration and holding power. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Species like Australovenator and Orcoraptor evolved teeth that seemed to pay homage to their distant raptor cousins. These teeth had smooth, flat front edges paired with serrated backs, natural steak knives that could slice through flesh with terrifying efficiency. Each backward-pointing serration was like a miniature blade, turning every bite into a devastating tear. And just when you think you've seen it all, we come to Fuchiraptor. This member of the family developed teeth that would make even prehistoric sharks do a double-take. They were laterally compressed and blade-like, similar to what we see in marine predators like Kronosaurus. These weren't just cutting tools, they were precision instruments designed to shear through flesh and bone with minimal effort. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of their dental arsenal isn't the teeth themselves, it's how they used them. Recent studies of their jaw mechanics revealed something unexpected. Unlike many predatory dinosaurs that relied on powerful bite force, megaraptors couldn't actually bite down with tremendous strength. Their jaw muscles weren't built for crushing power, and yet, this apparent weakness was transformed into a strength through evolutionary engineering. Their teeth were so perfectly designed for tearing, puncturing, and gripping that they didn't need massive bite force to be effective. Think of it like a perfectly sharpened knife. You don't need to press hard when the blade is razor sharp. This adaptation allowed them to be more precise in their feeding behavior. Instead of the brute force approach used by many large predators, megaraptors could delicately strip meat from bones, accessing food sources that other carnivores might struggle to reach. They were equally capable of tearing off huge chunks of flesh or precisely removing choice bits of meat. Evidence from fossil specimens tells us even more about their feeding strategies. Wear patterns on their teeth suggest they employed a specific pulling motion while feeding, using their neck muscles to tear flesh rather than relying solely on jaw strength. This technique, combined with their varied tooth types, made them incredibly efficient at processing their kills. But these dental adaptations weren't just about feeding. They were part of a larger hunting strategy. Those diverse tooth designs meant they could effectively handle a wide variety of prey. Whether they needed to puncture tough hide, grip slippery prey, or tear through sinew and muscle, they had the right tool for the job. The true genius of their dental evolution becomes clear when we consider how it worked in concert with their other adaptations. Those massive claws would secure prey, while their varied tooth types could then be employed with surgical precision. It was like having an entire toolkit of prehistoric cutlery, each tooth specialized for a specific purpose. To truly understand how formidable these creatures were, we need to look at their size, because while their teeth and claws made them deadly, their sheer scale made them unstoppable. And that's where our story takes an even more incredible turn. The sheer scale of these predators challenges our understanding of carnivorous dinosaur evolution. Their unique combination of size and agility represents one of nature's most successful evolutionary experiments. Welcome to the world of megaraptor giants, where being 25 feet long made you a medium-sized member of the family. Let's start with Aeoniraptor, discovered in the ancient riverbeds of Argentina. At first glance, its measurements seem like a typing error. 7.5 meters long, that's 25 feet, and weighing in at 1.1 tons. Put it next to the fictional Indoraptor and they'd stand eye to eye. But here's the shocking part. In the world of megaraptors, this was middle of the pack. Because these predators didn't just push the boundaries of size, they shattered them. Nearly half of all known megaraptor species exceeded 8 meters in length. The Orcoraptor, stalking through prehistoric South America, stretched longer than a city bus. Tratyenia, another Argentine giant, reached similar proportions. These weren't just large predators, they were rewriting our understanding of how big these agile hunters could become. But it's in Australia where one of their most remarkable achievements was recorded. In a continent famous for unique and deadly wildlife, megaraptors claimed another distinction. They were the largest theropod predators ever to walk across the Australian outback. It's fitting, really. The land that would one day be known for its impressive predators started this tradition long before the first mammals arrived. Yet even these giants were dwarfed by what was waiting to be discovered in late Cretaceous Argentina. Enter Mipe macrothorax, MIP to paleontologists, a creature that pushes the boundaries of what we thought possible in a predatory dinosaur. At 10 meters long, that's 33 feet, it outsized even the largest confirmed Allosaurus specimens. This wasn't just another big predator. This was nature experimenting with the upper limits of predatory design. The name Mipe comes from Ionacank mythology, referring to an evil spirit that sent shadowy death into the world. It's eerily appropriate, because this creature's arsenal was scaled up to match its massive size. Those already impressive megaraptor claws? On MIP, they reached an estimated 37.5 centimeters, nearly 15 inches. Imagine facing a predator armed with 4 machete-length claws, each backed by muscles powerful enough to lift a small car. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Despite their massive size, these creatures had a secret that defied conventional wisdom. Their bones were hollow, not just partially hollow like most dinosaurs, but extensively pneumatized to a degree that even surprised scientists. Only one other predator, the neovenator, came close to matching their level of skeletal air spaces. This extreme adaptation meant that despite their intimidating size, they were dramatically lighter than you'd expect. A megaraptor, the size of an Allosaurus, would weigh only 2/3 as much. Some species, like the Australovenator, took this lightweight build to extraordinary levels, weighing just 310 kilograms, while stretching more than 6 meters long. That's like having the weight of a small car spread over the length of a great white shark. This unusual combination of massive size and lightweight construction gave them unique advantages. Their hollow bones meant they could reach gigantic proportions without sacrificing the speed and agility that made them such effective hunters. These weren't lumbering giants. They were precision-engineered killing machines that could move with shocking speed despite their size. But being huge came with its own challenges. Fossil evidence shows us that life wasn't easy for these giants. They faced fierce competition, not just from other species, but from their own kind. And that brings us to one of the most fascinating aspects of their existence: their incredible agility and speed. Because when you combine the size of a bus with the agility of a cheetah, you get something truly extraordinary. When we imagine giant predatory dinosaurs, we typically picture massive, earth-shaking creatures that announced their presence with thunderous footsteps. But the megaraptors broke this rule just as they broke so many others. These were stealth hunters that combined the size of a bus with the graceful movement of a big cat, and the evidence for this is written in their bones. Let's start with those remarkable hollow bones we mentioned earlier. But this wasn't just any ordinary dinosaur pneumatization, this was extreme engineering. Their bones were so extensively hollowed that paleontologists initially struggled to believe the evidence before them. A megaraptor, the size of a T-Rex, would weigh barely half as much. This wasn't just an adaptation, it was a complete redesign of the predatory body plan. Take the Australovenator, for instance. Here was a creature over 20 feet long, longer than a great white shark, yet weighing only about 680 pounds. For comparison, that's about the weight of 2 adult male lions stretched over the length of a small yacht. This extreme weight reduction wasn't just about saving energy, it was about something far more terrifying: speed. Their leg bones tell an even more chilling story. Unlike the thick, robust legs of most large theropods, megaraptor legs were surprisingly slender, more similar to those of much smaller chelurosaurs. These weren't the support pillars of a lumbering giant. They were the running gear of a high-speed predator. Some paleontologists have even nicknamed them the cheetahs of their time. And the evidence suggests this isn't just colorful language. Detailed analysis of their leg muscle attachment points reveals something that would make any prey species lose sleep. These weren't just running legs, they were sprinting legs. The muscle arrangement suggests they could accelerate quickly and maintain high speeds over considerable distances. Imagine something the size of a school bus that could chase you down like a wolf. That's what their prey had to contend with. But speed was only part of their arsenal. The structure of their feet and ankles suggests something equally impressive. They were remarkably agile. The bones show adaptations for quick turns and precise movements, more like what we see in modern birds of prey than in other large dinosaurs. They could change direction almost instantly, turning their massive size from a potential hindrance into a deadly advantage. Their lightweight build also gave them another crucial advantage: stealth. Despite their impressive size, they could move quietly when they needed to. Their hollow bones and efficient muscle structure meant they could stalk prey with surprisingly little noise. They weren't just ambush predators or pursuit predators, they could be both, adapting their hunting strategy to whatever the situation required. Recent studies of their brain cases have revealed even more about their movement capabilities. The semicircular canals, the parts of the inner ear responsible for balance, were well developed, suggesting exceptional spatial awareness and coordination. These weren't just fast animals, they were precisely controlled hunting machines that could navigate complex environments at high speed. But perhaps most impressive was their endurance capability. The extensive air sac system that made their bones so light and also gave them highly efficient oxygen processing. Like modern birds, they could maintain activity levels that would leave other predators gasping for breath. This wasn't just about short bursts of speed, they could literally run their prey into exhaustion. Evidence from fossil trackways adds another layer to our understanding. The spacing and depth of their footprints suggest they moved with an almost graceful efficiency, even at size. They didn't waste energy with unnecessary movement. Every step, every motion was calculated for maximum effect and minimum energy expenditure. This combination of speed, stealth, and efficiency made them nearly perfect predators. But it also put them in direct competition with other apex hunters in their environment. And that competition would shape their evolution in ways that still astonish us today. Because when you're sharing hunting grounds with some of history's most infamous predators, you need every advantage you can get. When you're one of history's most efficient killing machines, you might expect to rule your territory unopposed. But the world of the megaraptors was no empty playground. These predators shared their hunting grounds with some of the most formidable carnivores ever to walk the earth. And the evidence of their battles for survival is written in stone. Their strongholds stretched across 3 continents: Australia, Asia, and South America. But it was in South America where the competition reached its peak. Here, megaraptors found themselves face to face with the dreaded Carcharodontosaurids, massive predators that specialized in bringing down the largest prey. This wasn't just competition, this was a clash of hunting philosophies that would shape the course of evolution. The battlegrounds were primarily wet environments, floodplains, coastal areas, and river systems where prey was abundant. These weren't just random habitat choices. Fossil evidence suggests megaraptors used these terrains to their advantage. Their lightweight build allowed them to navigate soft ground where heavier predators might struggle, turning what could have been a disadvantage, their hollow bones, into a tactical edge. But the most fascinating evidence of their competitive nature comes from their own remains. A Murusraptor specimen discovered in Argentina tells a story that would make any nature documentary seem tame by comparison. The fossil revealed a severely infected brain case, but it wasn't just any infection. The puncture wounds matched the teeth of another Murusraptor. This wasn't just competition with other species, this was intense rivalry within their own kind. The infection was so severe that researchers estimate this individual had more than a 50% chance of dying from its injuries. Think about that for a moment. These creatures fought battles so fierce that they routinely risked death, not just from their wounds, but from the infections that followed. This was gladiatorial combat. But perhaps their most impressive feat was what happened around 90 million years ago. The dominant Carcharodontosaurids disappeared from the fossil record, leaving a massive gap in the ecosystem. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the megaraptors didn't waste any time. Within a relatively short span of time, they underwent a remarkable transformation. Their size increased dramatically, filling the apex predator niche their former rivals had left behind. This rapid evolution tells us something crucial about their adaptability. These weren't just specialized hunters stuck in one ecological role. They could adjust their hunting strategies, their size, even their preferred prey types to take advantage of new opportunities. It's a level of evolutionary flexibility that few other predator groups have demonstrated. Evidence suggests they even adapted their hunting grounds. While earlier species might have preferred densely vegetated areas where they could ambush prey, later giants like Macrothorax evolved to dominate more open territories. They weren't just surviving in their environment. They were reshaping it to suit their needs. But survival wasn't just about physical dominance. Fossil evidence suggests these creatures may have employed complex social behaviors. Multiple attack marks on single prey specimens, all from megaraptor-type predators, hint at the possibility of coordinated hunting. This wasn't just about being the biggest or the strongest. It was about being the smartest predator in the ecosystem. Their success story stretched across millions of years and multiple continents. In Australia, they became the largest predators in the ecosystem. In Asia, they adapted to a variety of different environments, from the coastal regions of Japan to the inland areas of Thailand. Each population developed its own subtle adaptations, while maintaining the core features that made them such effective hunters. But perhaps their most remarkable achievement was their intelligence. Because surviving in a world of apex predators takes more than just physical prowess. It takes cunning. And the megaraptors were about to prove they had plenty of that. Because when we look inside their skulls, we find evidence of cognitive abilities that would have made them even more dangerous than their physical weapons suggest. When we think about prehistoric intelligence, our minds often jump to the clever pack hunting of velociraptors, or the problem-solving abilities of Troodon. But the megaraptors tell a different story, one that combines raw power with sophisticated hunting intelligence. And the evidence lies in their remarkably well-preserved brain cases. At first glance, their brain structure seems surprisingly familiar. It bears a striking resemblance to that of their rivals, the Carcharodontosaurids. But this similarity masks a crucial difference. The Megaraptor's brains show specialized development in areas associated with coordination, spatial awareness, and sensory processing. Modern crocodiles are often dismissed as simple creatures, but scientists have discovered they can use tools, coordinate attacks, and even set traps for their prey. The brain structure of megaraptors suggests similar, if not superior, capabilities. Their neural architecture hints at cognitive abilities that would have made them extraordinarily effective predators. Consider the evidence from their sensory systems. The brain cases show enlarged areas dedicated to processing visual information, suggesting keen eyesight that could track fast-moving prey. But it's their inner ear structure that tells an even more interesting story. The semicircular canals, crucial for balance and spatial orientation, were highly developed, allowing them to process complex movement information in real time. But perhaps most intriguing is the size and structure of their cerebellum, the part of the brain responsible for coordinating movement and learning from experience. This region appears well developed, suggesting these creatures could learn from their hunting experiences and adapt their strategies accordingly. They weren't just following instinct, they were learning, adapting, and improving their hunting techniques over time. Fossil evidence supports this picture of intelligent hunting behavior. The attack patterns preserved in prey specimens show remarkable consistency in targeting vulnerable areas. This wasn't random aggression. It was calculated precision. They knew exactly where to strike for maximum effect, and this knowledge appears to have been refined through experience. Their brain structure also suggests something that would have made them even more dangerous: the ability to plan. The relative size of their forebrain indicates they could process complex information and potentially anticipate prey behavior. Social intelligence may have been another weapon in their cognitive arsenal. The architecture of their brains shows similarities to modern animals capable of complex social behavior. This aligns with fossil evidence suggesting possible coordinated hunting strategies. They may have been capable of working together, using their intelligence not just individually, but as a group to bring down larger prey. The sophistication of their sensory processing suggests they could integrate multiple types of information simultaneously. Visual data, spatial awareness, balance, and proprioception would have all worked together to create a detailed picture of their environment. This neural integration would have made them extraordinarily effective at navigating complex terrains and tracking elusive prey. But their intelligence wasn't just about hunting. The size of areas associated with memory suggests they could remember past experiences, successful hunting grounds, and potentially even individual rivals or packmates. This wasn't just survival. This was sophisticated social and environmental awareness. Recent studies of their brain architecture have revealed another fascinating possibility. They may have been capable of problem-solving behavior. The neural pathways suggest they could process novel situations and adapt their responses accordingly. If a hunting strategy wasn't working, they could switch tactics mid-pursuit, making them unpredictable and even more dangerous. This combination of physical prowess and cognitive sophistication made them something unique in the prehistoric world. They represented a new kind of hunter, one that combined the raw power of giant theropods with the intelligence and adaptability we typically associate with much later predators. But their story isn't just about what they were, it's about what they teach us, because in understanding these remarkable creatures, we're forced to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about prehistoric predators. The megaraptors represent one of evolution's most fascinating experiments in predator design. Their success across multiple continents and varied environments demonstrates the remarkable adaptability of their unique features. These weren't just incremental improvements on existing predator designs. They represented a fundamental reimagining of what a large theropod could be. Consider what we've uncovered. Claws longer than any predator before or since. Arms that would make a T-Rex jealous. A dental arsenal that borrowed the best features from multiple killer species. And a brain sophisticated enough to use all these weapons with deadly precision. But perhaps their greatest achievement wasn't any single feature. It was how they brought everything together into a perfectly balanced killing machine. Their story challenges everything we thought we knew about predatory dinosaurs. They showed us that giant carnivores didn't have to be lumbering brutes. They proved that size and agility weren't mutually exclusive. They demonstrated that complex hunting strategies and sophisticated social behavior weren't limited to smaller, later species. But it's beyond just their physical capabilities. The megaraptors represent a unique evolutionary experiment, one that succeeded spectacularly. They weren't just surviving. They were thriving across multiple continents, adapting to different environments, and consistently pushing the boundaries of predatory design. Their success story forces us to reconsider our assumptions about prehistoric life. These weren't simple creatures operating on instinct alone. They were sophisticated predators capable of learning, adapting, and possibly even coordinating their attacks. They combined physical weapons that would make any horror movie monster proud, with cognitive abilities that hint at unexpectedly complex behavior. As we close this investigation into nature's perfect predator, we're left with a profound appreciation for the sophistication of prehistoric life. The megaraptors weren't just deadly, they were revolutionary. They showed us that evolution can produce combinations of features we might never have thought possible. In the end, while Hollywood creates fictional super predators to thrill audiences, the fossil record reminds us that reality can be even more extraordinary. The megaraptors weren't just ancient history. They were pioneers, pushing the boundaries of what a predator could be. And in doing so, they've left us with a legacy that continues to reshape our understanding of prehistoric life. Because sometimes, the truth isn't just stranger than fiction. It's far more terrifying.